Hi guys, a lot of people have actually requested to see how I propagate, how I clip and propagate. This is a Syngonium coral vine, I think is the name of the variety. And before I continue with my video, I hope you're going to enjoy it, and I'm going to try and update this as often as I can. That you're going to hit the like, subscribe, and of course the bell so you're notified every single time I do upload a new video. Everything that I'm using with all of this will be in the description section. All my social media accounts will be in the description section as well. So do check that out, and I hope you do want to connect. So what I have here, these are clippings of from my Syngonium coral, which I have planned. I'm just clipping them and giving them away or trying to experiment. I have here my Hoya Davidcumingii. She's not doing so hot, and I'm kind of worried that I'm going to lose her. So I will be clipping her today. This is what I use as a liquid. I have actually made a review on this particular product. I have also actually talked about this a lot and compared this to Super Thrive. And anyway, this is what I use to clip and propagate successfully. This is a root boosting powder, and this is also from Hormex. And again, everything that I'm using is going to be in the description section. So just try to pay attention, and if you're wondering what I'm using, you're curious, you want to check it out, more information, just look in the description section. So here I already clipped it because my plant wouldn't really fit in the frame. So I just put it in a cup right here. So basically how you can successfully clip and propagate a Syngonium. This is a node right here where there is a horizontal line. That's a node. What you need to do, or what I prefer to do, is cut all the way out here. You can cut it shorter, but I like it a little bit longer. Too long, sometimes it will rot, but just make sure you cut like below. For me, I prefer a little bit longer, like maybe up to here, the shortest. And the reason for that is you have to dip it in, and you can't really dip all the way up to here because it will start to rot. So that's why I want to give it a little give right there. But you don't want it to be too long, because if it's too long, from my personal experience, it will just rot in the bottom, and it's really not going to root for a really long time. If I try to check it and something's, it's still not rooting for like a month, there's something wrong. And what I've noticed is that it rots in the bottom, and I can try to salvage it up to here. So just I just trim this all the way up here so you guys can see where the node is. The node is this horizontal line. And for me, I would prefer, from personal experience, to cut the shortest is here, where my fingernail is. And the reason I say that is because of when you're going to pop it in whatever substrate or medium you have, if it's too short, I've noticed like if you go too short, sometimes it's a little hard to root. And also the reason for that is that it keeps flopping over. If you water propagate and you're lucky enough that you can do that yourself, that's great. But for me, I've never had any luck in water propagating. So this is what I'm doing, and this is Coco Coir. This is the most successful substrate or medium that I ever use. And I don't soak this with water. I soak it with something else to kind of help enhance my propagations. So the reason I have Syngonium clippings and I'm going to root my Hoya is because, from my personal experience, Syngoniums are definitely very fast in regards to rooting. And when you have a node or a clipping that roots, it helps the other clippings root and thrive in regards to root establishment and production. So that's why I want to mix them both in the same pot. And just so you know, I have a different blend on what I use to water when I do have clippings and when I am propagating. You never want to use any fertilizer on that, because that's not really good for that. Okay, so let's just start right here. So I'm going to clip. I don't know if you guys can see this. Okay. I'm going to clip this one because I'm just worried. She's not really doing so hot. I don't know. It was kind of misleading, I guess. I thought she was a lot bigger, and she's not from when I purchased her. So the node is usually below a leaf right here. Can you see it? Sorry, right here. You guys can see that. And usually aerial root, it's in between an aerial root and the leaf, but I prefer to cut a little bit further away just to have extra give. So I would cut it right there. See, that means when it has a white sap, that means it's good and viable. So I'll dip it real quick because I'm using a root boosting powder from Hormex, and I'm going to pair that out with this, with a Syngonium coral. And I separated this from the bottle because I don't want it to be contaminated. If you get, like, if you're doing the clipping and then in a week or two this turns yellow or it starts to rot, that's very, very normal. What it does is it tries to get the nutrients in, and it goes towards the, you know, to enhance the, supposedly to give more nutrients to the rest of the plant. That's what I've heard. I don't really know how true that is, so we'll just go with that. This one is a pretty long vine. I'm gonna cut it right here. I hope it does well. I was having a nightmare yesterday and I had to do it today because I was having a nightmare that this was just not doing so hot and it was dying. So I'm gonna put it right there. The reason I'm putting the Syngonium in between is that the Syngonium helps with the rooting, supposedly. Uh-oh, I wanted to cut that a little bit more. So I'm going to dip that and coat it really, really well. And what I prefer is to also put in the aerial roots in the bottom. And for me, it just kind of helps, you know, rooting from the tip of the clipping and rooting from the aerial roots. It's just like insurance, I guess. There's another one right here. And I'm just going to keep going with this until this is full. I prefer my propagation pots to be full, and the reason I do that is it's less chance of it getting overwatered. I want to coat it, and I hope you guys can see it. I'm going to coat it really, really well right there. For me, I feel like if you crowd it, it's easier for the nodes to, it's a lesser chance to be overwatered is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I do clip the leaves after I'm done because it is kind of a, like right now, it is kind of annoying and it covers everything else. So just clip that off because I don't really need that. Ah, shoot. I forgot to get my watering jug. Okay. Oops. Oh no. Nothing, honey. Just I dipped the leaf as well. I didn't really intend to do that, but it happened. That was my son, by the way, just asking what happened because I'm like, oh shoot. Right? I'm just gonna trim this real quick. So this is the Syngonium coral. It's also known Syngonium coral vine. It's got red veins, and the more mature, more colorful ones actually have a more reddish pink to them. And this one, I really didn't want to cut this one, but I'm just worried that this plant is just not thriving, and I'm just, my Hoyas are not really doing as, okay, my Hoyas are not really doing as well as I'm hoping they would. I prefer to crowd my clippings, and as I've said before, the reason for that prevents overwatering. In about a month or two, there should be roots okay, I'm mistaken. In 2 months should be the earliest that this can be taken out of this pot, separated, and put in their own individual pot. And they'll be their own individual plant if it does take off. So 2 months for me, but this is because of the water mix that I do make, and the equipment that I use. Again, I will put that down in the description section. Here's another leaf that you guys can see what it looks like. I don't really like to keep the leaves. Sometimes I do. Kind of sentimental value, I guess. But usually I don't. Here's a bigger one. And the reason for that is that it kind of crowds my propagation station. So I'm actually propagating differently right now. Before, I used to dip it in the liquid Hormex for 5 to 10 minutes, and now I don't really do that. And the reason I don't do that is because I have the Hormex powder, and I'm trying to see if it works like that, in that way by itself. And if it does, then I don't have to soak it for very long, which I'm kind of hoping that's going to happen. It's just faster, I think. And there we go. I just dipped the leaf again in the powder when I didn't intend to. There we go, and that's what it is. I will try to update this as much as I can. I'm hoping once a week. I will try and do that for you guys and for me as well, to see any kind of development. And you guys can join me with that journey. But for now, that's how she is. And I hope she does better, because... Hold on, maybe I can get away with one more node. Worst case scenario, my whole plant dies, all my clippings don't take, and if I want another Davidcumingii, I just have to search and purchase it again, which I'm really hoping that doesn't have to happen. So anyway, this is how I usually do it, and it does take a while. So if you guys have any questions on what I do, if you know everything that I've mentioned, there's something that I missed, and you looked at the description section, my equipment isn't all there. If there's anything else, let me know down in the comment section below. If you want to chit chat about clippings and propagation, Hoyas, Syngoniums, let me know down in the comment section below. I love hearing from you guys all the time. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys again next time. Bye!